Good morning, my name is David Strauss. I run product for a company called Know. We believe content is the center of the educational experience, whether it's presented by a teacher, a textbook, video, whether it's assessed, what students are consuming in essence is content. If you come to Know's website, what you'll find is what looks like a digital textbook company. Enhanced digital textbooks, 200,000 of the top K-20 textbooks. But what I'm going to talk about this morning digs in a little bit more to help you understand what Know is beyond being what it appears to be a digital textbook company. When you take a deeper look at Know, what we really are is a 21st century content platform, and we really focus in three key areas. One is transforming content for a more engaged experience. We'll talk about that. The second is delivering that content in a ubiquitous way. So we've taken on the difficult task of being available on browser, iPad, Android, Windows 7, Windows 8, and that is a lot of work. Third is measurement, being a strong analytic platform focusing on both behavioral and outcome, and combining all of those and helping to move content forward. Now, Know is currently at more than 6,000 institutions from K to post-secondary. We are in projects both US and overseas. And we have relationships with 80 of the top publishers, both traditional and what I would call new age or transformative kind of content companies. Last year, Michael Milliken at this conference talked about the top issues affecting humanity. And when he did his analysis, not surprisingly, education was at the center of all 10 of those issues in some way, shape, or form. But as we know, education has not kept pace. And if you were to fall asleep in a classroom in the 1920s and were to wake almost 100 years later, you would know exactly where you are. And that is not the case in many, many parts of our economy. An accountant who fell asleep 100 years ago wouldn't even recognize the framework or tool set that's being used today. So the question is, how do we solve this problem? And our mission is really, while we talk about content, it's to move from passive to a very active learning. And we'll talk a little bit about that. It is a great time. The last 24 to 36 months have been really transformative in terms of what we're seeing in institutions. Now, we started with the textbook, and a lot of people ask why. Isn't education about completely blowing that apart? Well, the reality is education is an evolutionary kind of domain. We've never seen technology successfully revolutionize, move generationally inside of the educational system. So we started with what is the lingua franca of the classroom, and that is the textbook. And then for us, it was a matter of taking that and beginning to transform it. And let me talk a little bit about that transformation. We do many things in our technology. As an example, we analyze the textbook, automatically determine if there's a glossary in the back. If there is, we pull that out, we extract it. We deep link it into the book itself. So every word that is in the glossary ends up having what appears to be a hyperlink showing the definition, and then we automatically generate flashcards on a per chapter basis. All this happens through technology and creates a more interactive experience. But using our SmartLink technology, what we really do is we begin to use the book, the content as it is delivered to us, as a platform to curate the world's information. So using our SmartLink technology, a publisher using very, very simple tools, much less expensive than what's being used today, can add videos, audios, web links, interactives like calculators or simulations directly on top of the page. And it exists as a segregated layer. And what that means is It is independent of the originating book or the originating content, which means it's real-time and distributed. A publisher can publish a book in 2011, and a major event occurs in 2013. They can literally add new media to that book, test it, and push it to their audience of thousands and thousands of users in seconds. It completely transforms the basis of the book, whether it's a PDF or EPUB. An EPUB is viewed as this new, wonderful structure that allows you to put interactivity inside of it. But once it's done, if that interactivity all changes, you have a republishing process. The technologies have been built today. So as a quick example, a video can be linked to any part of the book, a word, a set of words, an image, any way that the creator wants to create a link for that content. It can be done. It can be done outside of the book, and it can be delivered. Now, it's not just the publisher who can do this work. It's the teacher. It's the student. And all of this can be shared. So a teacher can fully curate a set of content, mark it up in any way they want, highlights, comments, links, all sorts of interactive information, and they can distribute that to their classroom. Students can share with each other. An expert could share to a community that's worldwide. So we're fundamentally trying to curate the content. Now, that's the starting point, kind of moving from the flat world of the page to a world in which the page becomes a curation, a full curation of all information that's interactive, including assessments. Where we're going, to spend 1 minute on that before I have to get off the stage. So just to give you a little glimpse of our thought process, we're looking at how to decompose all of this content with our publishers and through our own tools into those learning objects that we started talking about in 1995, and using a very strong meta model, being able to bring up the right content to the right consumer at the right moment in time to provide a truly adaptive experience. Today, content is the center of the world for a student, or more specifically, the classroom experience. And all students have to align to that experience. But we know that the reality, to create the true interactivity, to create the true engagement, the student has to be at the center of the experience. And so by completely blowing apart the content model in many interesting ways, by adding this rich meta information and allowing it to be flown in the right way to the right student at the right moment, the content of interest, the modality that works for them, we take all of the world's material and completely reshape it to this new, adaptive, personalized world of learning. Finally, Measured knows a very deep analytic platform. Everything is being captured. So we're able to literally understand how the consumer, how the student is working with the content, their assessments, the results, and fundamentally create a very, very strong analytic model. Now, what we did is we first offered that analytic model, and this is something we did that was very different, to the student, not to the teacher. Our first movement was to really create confidence in the student and to provide tools to the student to better understand their own performance. Like anything, most people don't really know how they're doing without some kind of measurement. And so now they can engage and understand, are they studying as much as they thought they were studying? What can they do to better prepare for a test? And eventually that will move into a model in which we'll find collaboration between the students, their information, and the teachers themselves. Thank you.